coach at Penn State.
The future of money.
Has been trophy winner John Cappelletti, along with former first-round pick Kurt Warner, have all been a part of the legends of Happy Valley. And the legacy of great tailbacks continues with All-America Curtis Enos. He, along with the rest of the #1 ranked team in the country, look to give Joe Paterno his 3rd national title. But for the unknown Louisville Cardinals, these masked men are trying to spoil the party. Led by the powerful arm of Chris Redmond, they're trying to pull off the biggest upset of the young college football season. It's Penn State and Louisville next on CBS Sports. Kentucky. We're outside Cardinal Stadium. They certainly know how to tailgate. They've got it all on the grill as the #2 tailgating school in the country goes after the #1 football team in the land. It's the 1-2 Louisville Cardinals against the undefeated and #1 ranked Nittany Lions from Penn State. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Louisville. I'm Gus Johnson along with Mike Mayock. Penn State returns 13 starters to a team that went 11-2 a season ago, won the Fiesta Bowl. And I tell you, this year, though, it's different because they're relying on big plays to win football games.
You know, defenses are putting 8 or 9 people in the box to stop Curtis Enos. It's forcing Penn State to get more aggressive with their offensive play call. Last week, second quarter score tied. Big play wide receiver Shawnee Fields goes 43 for a touchdown. Did it again for 47 later in the game. Louisville, though, counters with wide receiver Arnold Jackson. Also doubles as a punt returner. He takes this punt against Illinois, 84 yards all the way to the house. And Gus, for them to win, they need big plays from Jackson and Green.
And here comes the #1 team in America, Penn State. 2-0, 2 pretty convincing wins against Pitt as well as Temple. And there's their All-America tailback, Curtis Enos. So coming up, the starting lineups and the opening kickoff, Penn State and Louisville. The stadium of Louisville, Kentucky, the #1 team, Penn State, against the 1-2 Louisville Cardinals. Now let's check in with the 3rd member of our team, Dave Logan.
All right, Gus, thank you very much. You know, when your team is 21-point underdog to the nation's top-ranked team, you need your coach's best pregame speech. That's what Louisville got just a few moments ago when Ron Cooper said to them, fellas, listen, you have to liken yourself to this sledgehammer, with Penn State being the concrete. Now you continue to smash the concrete, smash the concrete, smash the concrete. Eventually you'll get a crack. When it cracks, normally a crack will break. When it breaks, the game will be ours. Gus, let's see whether or not Louisville can be that sledgehammer this afternoon. Back to you.
All right, Dave, and they also have added inspiration. Muhammad Ali, a Louisville native, the greatest boxer of all time, is in town as the Ali Cup, an amateur boxing tournament, is going on all week here in Louisville. And he is in the center of the field right now. The fans here in Louisville chanting his name as they did in Zaire when he knocked out George Foreman. And if he is an inspiration, then nobody else could be.
What a great shot. Muhammad Ali, the 50-yard line before you play the #1 team in the country. Ron Cooper and his boys are just fired up to go, Gus.
And the weather, about 77 degrees, make it 81 degrees, 75% humidity. We are expecting showers. It did rain here earlier this morning, but so far, very nice field conditions and temperature for the opening kickoff. So Louisville wins the toss. They will receive, and their sophomore quarterback ready to step on the field. And Mike, Chris Redmond, probably the biggest game of his career so far.
No question. This is one of the reasons he stayed home to play here at Louisville, to play big teams in big situations like this.
So Penn State will be kicking it off as Travis Forney will send it away, and back deep, Antonio Roundtree standing at his own goal line for the Cardinals. He's a sophomore out of Jacksonville, Florida. Penn State 2-0, Louisville 1-2, and we're underway from Cardinal Stadium. And this will be Roundtree. He'll take a knee in the end zone, and the Cardinals will start from their own 20-yard line. And Chris Redmond walking onto the football field. He's a sophomore, Louisville native out of Male High School, and he is a third-generation Cardinal quarterback. His father-dad played here in 68-69. Grandfather Lloyd played at Louisville in 1946. He's had back-to-back 324-yard games. First down and 10 from the 20 for the Cardinals.
Starting out with trips, 3 wide receivers and a split back. They're going to be aggressive offensively.
And they're starting in the shotgun. Delayed. And here's a shot. Jackson at the 25. Got outside. And will be ushered out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 14 on first down. Jim Nelson forcing him out of bounds. And offensively for Louisville, keep your eye on Ivan Green. Last week, a career day, 6 receptions, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. And on the offensive line, Craig Hoffman is their leader, but they will switch offensive lines every third series. So first down and 10 from the 34, out of the I formation. Jackson now to the near side. Here's a draw play, Roundtree, and he'll get maybe a yard. Nelson again on the tackle. Now defensively for Penn State, really solid up front. Brown, Poinadel, Fleischauer, and Snyder. And the linebackers, all 3 of these men are Butkus Award candidates. Linebacker you, and in the secondary, they call them the Smurfs. Not real big, but very quick and can cover extremely well. And Joe Paterno, the head coach of Penn State, 32nd year, his 48th year as a member of the coaching staff. Second down and 10 from the 34. No gain on the last play. Here's Redmond again. Under pressure over the middle. And it's complete. Jackson with the catch. He'll steam towards the end zone. And Louisville coming up with a big blow on their first drive. Talked about big plays. Louisville came out firing up.
And we highlighted that guy for a reason. That is his 4th play of 60 to 70 yards this season. He's a special football player.
So John Hilbert in to attempt the extra point. And it is good. So surprise, surprise, Louisville coming out on fire. They lead it 7-0.
Jim Nelson, the outside linebacker, blitzes and doesn't get there. Watch the effort now. When Lee misses the tackle, number 24, Sean Lee, it is all over but the shouting. Brandon Short's not going to catch him there, so the top of your screen's the linebacker blitzing. Good catch by Arnold Jackson. And when you're a safety, you can't miss that tackle in the open field.
First quarter of play, Cardinals on top 7-0. With the big plays, 65-yard touchdown, Redmond to Arnold Jackson, and they lead it 7-0. The scoring drive, 3 plays covering 80 yards. They scored 1 minute and 4 seconds.
And the theme of this week was big plays, and already just on the first series, they came out, run a wide receiver screen to Jackson, then they go into I formation. What happens third play? Right back to Arnold Jackson.
So the Cardinals will send it away. Jackson, 2 catches on that drive. He's got 2 catches, 79 yards already. Last week, he had an 86-yard punt return. So back deep, Shafi Fields, Chris Eberle for the Nittany Lions, and number 2 Fields can also break them big. And they will kick away from Fields. Here's Eberle from the 15. Straight ahead with a seam. Eberle at the 40-yard line, and he will be bottled up at the 43. 28-yard return for Chris Eberle.
Well, Penn State comes with the blitz with their Fritz linebacker here, Jim Nelson. But what happens is that leaves Arnold Jackson on a post route, and what happens is Redmond delivers the ball on a 5-step drop on time. He dinks it over short the linebacker, and look at the catch. If you're a free safety, you either get the football or you make sure of the tackle, but you can't let that happen. But great play by Arnold Jackson and Redmond delivering the football on time.
So first down and 10 from the 44 for the Nittany Lions. Their opening offensive possession of the game. And they fake the reverse. McQuarrie going up top. He's got Juravicius with the catch, and Juravicius scores. No flags on the play. So lace them up, fellas. And see as if the ball is going to be flying in the air a whole lot this afternoon. 57-yard touchdown.
Let's not forget what happened last week. Here's Juravicius right here. Last week, they run 2 reverses for touchdowns. So what do they open up with this week? A fake reverse. They get number 3, the quarterback, Wiley, to bite on the fake, and Juravicius with 4.5 speed runs away from him. That's great play calling. The irony is defensive coordinator Everett Withers from Louisville said they practice 10 minutes per day this week on all kinds of reverses and fake reverses.
And the extra point is good for Travis Forney. So Ron Cooper sees Joe Juravicius score the 57-yarder.
Mike McQuarrie 1 for 1. Over top, no safety in the hole. Wiley beat cleanly by Juravicius. Gus, we got a game of big plays. Fake the handoff. Here comes the fake reverse to Shawnee Fields in downtown. No safety in the hole. Wiley beat badly. Juravicius takes it to the house, and we got a 7-7 ball game.
Juravicius scoring on a 57-yard touchdown reception, and we are tied at 7 apiece with 13:37 to go. Now the fun is just beginning here on CBS. Don't forget, coming up after this game, number 4 against number 3. It's Tennessee against Florida from the swamp in Gainesville, Florida.
Hey, Gus, you and I are going to camp right here and watch that ball game. I want to see Peyton try and, in Gainesville, handle Florida Gators. But I'll tell you what, he's got to show me something, because I think Florida wins that game.
Here's Antonio Roundtree, fumbles the ball, gets out of the end zone, and it looks like they may have recovered it before it crept out. And it will be a touchback. So pretty good break for Louisville right there.
That's very fortunate. How'd you like to start? Poor job right here by Roundtree. The ball rolls. Now you got to jump on top of it, Antonio. Don't let it back outside, because if it does, there it is. There's the muff. Boy, it looks like it just got it before it snuck back over the line.
So Redmond and company back on the field. Arnold Jackson and Miguel Montano split to the near side. As you take a look around the country, Michigan beating Colorado last weekend. They'll play Baylor at home this afternoon. Here's Jackson in motion. Redmond over the middle. Ivan Green with the catch at the 30, and he'll get close to the 35. Sean Lee with the tackle, and that's a gain of 14 yards on first down.
2 big play guys we talked about, Ivan Green and Alfred Jackson. They've already featured both of them prominently just in 2 series. What they do is they motion Jackson, and that takes up a lot of Collins jumps. 2 people jump outside on number 10, Jackson, and it opens up the middle for Ivan Green. Penn State's got to be careful here.
First down and 10 from the 34. Frank Moreau, the lone setback. He'll go to the left side and be wrapped up. Matt Fornattle, the 5th-year senior out of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, making the tackle.
One of the things that Penn State's practice on is getting another linebacker in the game. And the way they do that is they take the middle linebacker, Brandon Short, who was a defensive end last year. They kick him down to defensive tackle and then bring in either Mac Morrison or LeVar Arrington. That gets another athlete on the field.
Gain of 1, second down and 9 now from the 35. Jackson in motion again. Redmond delivers to Jackson, and he drops it at the 50-yard line. Jackson wide open as he squatted down between Aaron Collins and his brother Jason, but unable to make the catch.
Bad job by Jackson here, wide open. He's had a great game so far. Working Redmond in the middle of the field, and just a little curl inside. looking to go too quickly. But watch what happens with Redmond here. He's going to take a big shot by Mac Morrison, 31. He still stands in the pocket and delivers the football. I really like Chris Redmond. I've watched a lot of tape with him. He will stand in the pocket, as Joe Paterno knows, and take a big hit.
Chris Redmond already among the top 20 passers in college football, and he's posted those back-to-back 324-yard games last week against Illinois and the week before against Utah, and a holding penalty on the play.
Now this is a dangerous situation. Second and long, you can't get it all back in one play. Take your time, take 2 plays to try and get a first down.
Redmond swings it out to Moreau. Moreau with the blocker, cuts it inside, and he'll be stacked up at the 25-yard line, ridden down. Aaron Collins there to make first contact, and they gain 7 yards on the play.
And it's not a bad call, Gus, in that kind of situation. You've got second and forever. Now you've got still have third and forever. You've got about third and 19 here, and this is the Penn State defense at its best. Jerry Sandusky will come after them, put some pressure on Redmond. I would look for draw, screen, and reverse.
Frank Moreau, 16 carries, 68 yards last week against the Illini, and he has become the regular starter. Third down and 19. Redmond drifting to his right, got it away, complete. He threw a bullet, and it is caught at the 30-yard line.
Danny Mosby picks it up on the sideline.
Mosby, a backup who is seeing time today because of the injuries to Yusuf Ware. So not enough for the first down, and that will bring on Jeremy Borsif, who's averaging 45 yards per punt on the season. He is standing at his 18. Eberle back deep for Penn State. High spiraling kick. This will send Eberle back all the way to the 15. At the 20, broke a tackle, got up to the 25, make it the 27. Flags are on the play.
Now, with all the pressure on Curtis Enos this year in Penn State, Joe Paterno and his offensive coordinator, Fran Ganner, have had to get a little bit more creative this year. Everybody's watching 39 Enos. They're going to motion him out, go to a one-back, and then run counter Trey. They bring the backside guard and tackle, Ostrowski and Blick, in front of their very talented fullback, Aaron Harris. And folks, if you haven't seen Aaron Harris run the football, he's every bit as effective as Curtis Enos. He's averaging over 8 yards a carry. So watch for that today. A lot of Aaron Harris.
There's Aaron Harris, sophomore out of Exton, Pennsylvania. One of the talented running backs in the country, and he is one of the hardest kids to bring down in the nation.
And you know what? He's got a little brother named Arlen, plays for Downingtown High School. Everybody in the country is recruiting Arlen Harris. He's a little smaller, but apparently a bit more evasive also. So you might see him in Happy Valley about a year from now.
Mike McQuarrie, the first State College area kid to ever start at quarterback for Joe Paterno. Here's a handoff. Enos around the left side, and he'll get over the 15, maybe the 16. Offensively for Penn State, backs and receivers, we talked about Curtis Enos. Aaron Harris is the guy to keep your eye on, as well as Jurevicius, who already has a 57-yard touchdown. And on the offensive line, Ostrowski is their best player, but John Blick started 6 games a season ago as a true freshman. They think he can be one of their all-time greats. And Ron Cooper, the head coach for Louisville, celebrating with his wife Kim, their first child. Baby Tyler was born on Wednesday. Second down and 8 from the 17. Play action. McQuarrie, all kinds of time, and it is incomplete. Nastasi, the intended receiver, and it looks like he was held by Duran Wiley.
I got to be honest, man. He got mugged.
And defensively, Kendrick Golston, the starting right end, back in the lineup after sitting out as a starter last week against Illinois. He's 8 sacks shy of the all-time lead. The linebackers, Terry Rice Lockett, moved from outside linebacker to inside linebacker for the first time last week. He had 20 tackles, and the safeties, both from the Motor City. John Fuqua, second in Conference USA in tackles with 26. Third down and 8. McQuarrie again, plenty of time. over the middle. Tikas Pettigrew with the catch, but nowhere to go. At the 11-yard line, he is ridden down. Rice Lockett and Dom Bibb on the tackle, and the Nittany Lions will put it away.
This place is absolutely going crazy. Nice job on 3rd and 8, forcing the underneath throw and come up and tackle.
And watch Arnold Jackson at the 25-yard line last week, an 86-yard return. Here's a punt. High wobbly kick. Jackson standing in at the 25. Makes the first guy miss. Trying to get outside, and he'll be wrapped up at the 31-yard line. Matt Joyner making the special teams tackle for the Nittany Lions. 46-yard punt. 6-yard return. We are knotted at 7 apiece. Louisville on offense when we get back. 5 to go here in the first quarter of play. We are tied at 7 apiece. Penn State, the #1 team in the country, in Louisville. Gus Johnson, Mike Mayock. We talked about big plays in our open, and big plays are already rearing their heads early.
Yeah, one for each team, which is why we have a 7-7 game. But what I like with Louisville is Don Kirkpatrick, the offensive coordinator, is doing a great job as the season progresses of getting number 10, Arnold Jackson, to be a focal point of this offense.
Jackson already with a big touchdown catch here in the first quarter for Louisville's first score of the game. First down and 10 from the 32. They load up the far side with 3 receivers. Redmond, and he is drilled in the backfield at the 25. And that's Aaron Collins, who came around the corner and just tattooed him. A loss of 7 on the play.
Big concern offensively for Louisville is could they stand up on the corners here with the speed pass rush. Mark Rivner, their big offensive tackle, and Anthony Byrd are big and strong guys, but they don't have great feet. And that time, Aaron Collins blew right by Grivna.
Aaron Collins, a member, 19 kids in his family, one of 19. 5 brothers played here at Penn State. Here's a draw play. Otis Floyd down, big opening at the 30. Lowers his head, gets up to the 35, to the 36. That'll be a gain of 11. Jim Nelson with the tackle for the Nittany Lions.
Good call there because they were bringing Aaron Collins again from the left side of your screen. Number 6 will flash. The run and draw other way. Good blocking by the center Hoffman, and the turnout block by Grivna, and Otis Floyd does the rest.
There's Aaron Collins. Brother Andre, All-America for the Nittany Lions at linebacker, played for the Skins, now with Cincinnati. 3rd down and 6. Looking to the back. Looking to the... And he'll go down. And he'll go down. That's Brandon Short, the middle linebacker, played defensive end last year, somehow got in off the edge, and another sack for the Nittany Lions, loss of 12.
Well, here's what happens is they're looking to get a little wide receiver screen here because they're going to block, but what happens is Brandon Short's going to come right through on the blitz, and there's not enough time to set it up. He comes through clean, the screen's there, but not enough time to get it off.
So Borseth standing at the 10-yard line. Eberle at his own 31. They got it away, almost blocked, wobbly kick. Eberle from the 40, and he'll go down. Lavelle Boyd making the special teams tackle, but it probably will be interference. It didn't look like they gave Eberle that 2-yard cushion.
Right. More emphasis on the safety of the returner now than ever in college football. Call interference. That penalty now carries 15 yards rather than the old 5-yard penalty. So that's a serious infraction.
And Ron Cooper, really a motivator, spent 2 years at Eastern Michigan, his 3rd
We have
year.
a violation of the 2-yard belt. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now they still have a 5 and a 15. The 15 if it's particularly vicious, 5 if it's just an infringement with the opportunity to catch the football. And you can see he doesn't kill him there. He still catches the football. It's only 5 yards.
So Penn State takes over with great field position. First down and 10 from their own 46. Here's a play fake. McQuarrie running. And he'll get inside Louisville territory as he's tracked down from behind. Derek Kennedy making the tackle. That's a gain of 7.
Once again, we've talked all week about how they have to take pressure away from Curtis Enos. You haven't even called his name yet because they're using him as a decoy. That time you fake the ball and let your quarterback McQuarrie get out on the edge with a pass run option.
That'll make it 2nd down and 3.
This is an end over. The tight end will now switch, and now it's conventional slot.
And Scioli out of the I formation. Jurevicius now in motion. Play action. McQuarrie underneath, and it is broken up. Don Bibb, the right corner, making a nice play. The intended receiver, Shafi Fields.
Mike McQuarrie had all day to throw the football, and the difference between McQuarrie and last year's quarterback, Wally Richardson, he's not afraid to take the deep shot. Once again, play action to Enos. Doesn't have Jurevicius across the middle, so he's going post. No free safety in the hole. Look at the close by 27 Don Bibb on Shafi Fields. Great closing action. Nice play.
3rd down and 3 now from the 47 for Penn State. They give it to Enos over the right side. Got him blocked, and he'll pick up the 1st down as he starts through the hole. Gain of 7. He'll be downed at the 40. Rashad Harris, the freshman, true freshman out of Huntsville, Alabama, making the tackle.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Paterno coming back to this kind of football. Watch what happens. The tackle, Blick kicks out on the corner. That's unfair right there. Scioli, the tight end, gets a block. That's the kind of football Joe Pa and his offensive coordinator, Fran Ganner, want to get to eventually.
1st down from the 39. Here's Enos, flags on the play. Aaron Harris jump. Enos around the corner. He'll sprint. And Enos knocked out of bounds at the 15, but this one will be coming back.
Aaron Harris, the fullback, jumped prior to the snap. He wasn't set for a full second. And remember, Gus, the coach is telling us it's been kind of bad luck for Curtis Enos this year.
So a legal motion to call. Aaron Harris, the penalty will cost Penn State a 23-yard gain.
I mean, that's huge. 23-yard gain by Enos. Now you lose 5, and that's what's been plaguing Joe Paterno's team in first quarter so far this year. Penalties and fumbles.
And your referee today, Bill Lemonier.
We have illegal motion on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Aaron Harris right here. You've got to be set for a full second. Watch his left foot. Oh, right foot. He moved. Good call.
1st down at 15 from the 44. Here's Enos again. Trying to swoop around the right side. Found a hole. And he is taken down. Golston with the tackle. And it's been a frustrating season so far for Enos. As you take a look at his career numbers, he's not putting up the big numbers that he's accustomed to because everybody's keying on him. However, Joe Paterno said earlier this week that he's handling it pretty well.
Yeah, both Joe Paterno and Fran Ganner have said that he's done a great job, and it really is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's 11 games plus a bowl possibility. I guarantee you before this season is over, he'll have 1,000 yards and be the big guy in that offense.
3 carries for 14 yards. Cleary and Enos in the backfield now for Penn State. Jurevicius, the motion man. Play fake again. Into the flats. Here's Cleary, the fullback with the catch. And the big fella rumbles down to the 30. Wiley with the tackle, a pickup of 13.
Continue to use play-action fakes, move the football. Ultimately, I think it's going to help this Penn State team because they're going to be more diversified as the season goes on. But right now, they've just got to hang in there and find out who their other offensive weapons are.
So McQuarrie so far, 3 of 5, 74 yards. And Joe Paterno said that he really likes this kid. Grew up minutes away from Beaver Stadium. Coach Paterno said he waited his turn, kept his mouth shut. He's a tough, smart kid. And more importantly, Mikey's willing to take chances.
The interesting thing there is Joe told us that, Fran Ganner told us that, and then when we came to Louisville yesterday, their defensive coordinator, Everett Withers, said, hey, this McQuarrie kid is a player, and what scares me is he'll go up top.
In his first start for Penn State, threw for a school record 366 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And Pitt loaded up 8 and 9 guys in the box and dared Mike McQuarrie to beat him, and they did. We've got 3rd and inches here, Gus.
6th play of the drive from the 30. Out of the pro set, McQuarrie taking his time. Here we go. He'll lead ahead and pick up the 1st down. Now let's go to New York. Jim Nantz climbed the 4th on the all-time passing list out at Washington State, replacing Mark Rippon. Here's first down and 10 from the 29. Gonzalez, Enos, big hole, high stepping at the 10. See ya later. Touchdown, Penn State. 29 yards.
Favorite play for Curvasine is counter trey. Ostrowski and Blick, the backside guard and tackle, get out in front of Enos. They knock the corner out. They kick the linebacker out also. The missed tackle by the free safety Dinkins. And a big fella's going to strut it in the end zone.
Enos so far 4 carries, 42 yards. And interestingly enough, that's the first time this season he's broken a run over 18 yards. So Enos with the touchdown is 4th of the season. Extra point is good by Forney.
Watch the backside, 64 and 78. Good block on Harris, another block on the corner. And at this point, if the free safety doesn't make the tackle, it's all over. And we've got a 14-7 ball game late in the first quarter.
To go in the first quarter, 14-7, Penn State on top of Louisville. Now, don't forget, next on CBS, Tennessee Heisman Trophy candidate senior Peyton Manning is looking for his first win against the number 3 Florida Gators. Gators have won the last 4 meetings against the Volunteers.
And I get goosebumps just looking at that.
I am ready for that one myself. It's Tennessee and Florida coming up next right here on CBS.
You know why Florida's so good? It's their defense. Everybody talks about Spurrier in the offense, but that defense led by defensive coordinator Bobby Stoops is just tremendous.
So Forney sending it away. This time it will be short, returnable for Roundtree, and he'll take a knee. It's almost as if that ball gets a little burst of air right as it's getting ready to come down.
It looked like he was trying to catch a javelin. I mean, it impaled him at the end and just pushed him back and did the right thing there. Look, he's on the goal line. He's drifting. It's like a center fielder drifting. The thing knocks him back 5 yards deep, and the freshman did a good job.
And if you look at the flags, the wind, it is blowing out of the Louisville end zone. So that's why the ball has been getting that extra little burst. First down and 10 from the 20 for the Cardinals. Out of the eye. Play action, Redmond over the middle. Ivan Green with the catch. Trying to get outside. Green at the 30, spins, and he goes down right there. Jim Nelson with the tackle, but that'll be a gain of 11 yards for the sophomore out of Male High School here in Louisville.
Here's the deal. When Redmond has the time to throw the football, Louisville's offense will be effective. If Penn State can get to them, they won't, because Louisville has no remnants of a running game.
So far, Redmond 6 of 6, 119 yards, and a touchdown in the first quarter of play. First down and 10 from the 31. Floyd, the lone setback. They give it to him. Big hole for Floyd. He'll get up to the 40 and gain the first down. Aaron Collins with the tackle, but a 10-yard pickup for the junior from Southfield, Michigan. And for Louisville this season, Mike, they really haven't been able to run the ball the way they'd like to.
No, they're averaging 59 yards a game. Look at Utah. They picked up 15 yards. But what happens when you're able to throw the ball effectively is all of a sudden out of that one-back set, they're running draw. And draw has been the only effective ground gainer for them so far today.
Floyd was the original starter. However, he lost his job to Frank Moreau. But last week against Illinois, you can tell that his ego was bruised a little bit because he came out, played a really good football game as he picks up the first down right there.
I'm a big believer in competition, as is that guy, Ron Cooper. And he told us that, hey, when they put Moreau in there, Floyd said, I got to step it up a little half a pace, and he has. He's played much better since then.
So far, the rushing yards, 50 for Penn State. First down from the 41 for the Cardinals. Redmond steps up in the pocket, delivers over the middle, incomplete. Arnold Jackson, the intended receiver. And Redmond incomplete for the first time this afternoon. Now follow your favorite team all season long on CBS.Sports Live. We've got scores, highlights, breaking news, and all kinds of in-depth information. And CBS Sportsline is your online source for stats on all 112 Division 1A teams. Click on and be a part of the action at cbs.sportsline.com. Louisville calling time out on the play. They are down 14-7. Quarter play, Penn State leading Louisville 14-7, the #1 team in the country. And after some early fireworks in the first few minutes of the game, things have settled down a little bit.
I like the way Louisville's come back, though, because let's face it, Penn State just took the ball down the field, scored. Now they've got 2 consecutive first downs. It's important for them to come back in and show Penn State they're not going to roll over.
Second down and 10 from the 41. Redmond out of the gun. The audibles at the line of scrimmage.
Chess match.
Here we go. Swings it out. Floyd in the flats. And a nice open field tackle. Derek Fox coming up. He's a backup sophomore out of Canton, Ohio, and he comes from a line of some pretty great players out of the state of Ohio.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he's had 4 uncles, one of whom is Timmy Fox, who played for so many years with the New England Patriots. That kid's a player out of the state of Ohio.
How he got out of John Cooper's class, anybody would like to know that, but he is playing here at Penn State. If you see some scores from around the country, BC and Rutgers tied at 7. Third down at 13 from the 38-yard line.
Timeout, Penn State had the wrong personnel in the ball game, forced to burn a timeout, and you know what? That will burn that man, Joe Paterno, and their defensive coordinator, Jerry Sandusky.
4:01 to go. 14-7, Penn State. 7, 4:01 to go. Let's check in with Dave Logan on the sideline.
All right, Gus, thank you very much. You know, when you think of Louisville, you can't help but think of the Louisville Slugger. They've been making baseball bats here now for over 100 years. The Ken Griffey Jr. model is probably the most famous one that's being used today. But now what I did when I went over to the factory yesterday, guys, I said, listen, I've got a couple of real heavy hitters, and they're up in our booth. It's Gus Johnson and Mike Mayock. Fellas, take a look at that. What do you think?
I tell you what.
Kind of takes your breath away, doesn't it?
I tell you what, Dave, I've got warning track power. That's all the slugging I can do.
All right.
All right.
Fairly appropriate, though, Gus. You played baseball in college at Howard University, and I played a little bit at Boston College. Pretty good, huh?
Right now, this Cardinals team trying to march it down the field. 6th play of their drive that started on their 20-yard line. Jackson Montano to the near side. Redmond pumping, and it is broken up. Intended for Ivan Green, but Jimmy Nelson standing right there on the play. Kind of a dangerous pass for Chris Redmond.
Just what I was saying earlier, when Redmond sets his feet and throws the football, he's effective, but the pressure there got to him, even though he had Jackson wide open on curl.
So Borson standing at the 24. And Eberle back at his own 20-yard line.
They almost got the last punt here, but it looks like they're going to try and return this one.
And Borson, low, wobbly kick. Eberle has to come up to field it, and he will dive ahead to the 30-yard line. And let's go back to New York and check in with our Jim Nance. Team really struggling to open up the season.
Yeah, that's a must-win for BC and Tom O'Brien. Big win over West Virginia, tough loss with Temple.
First down, McQuarrie looking all day to throw the football, but it is incomplete. Nastasi, the intended receiver, the ball thrown behind him. Joe Paterno, 32nd year at Penn State, and look at what this program has been able to do with him there. 708 wins, 5th all-time. Paterno has actually been at Penn State for half of their games.
48th year, it's hard to imagine.
Second down and 10. Here's the inside handoff. Harris, the first time they've really called his number today, and nowhere to go. And that is the freshman Rashad Harris making the tackle. He started the first 2 games at middle linebacker.
Harris on Harris, and Rashad, Gus, turns 18 next week when they play at Oklahoma. Pretty special for a 17-year-old man to be starting against the #1 team in the country.
That'll make it 3rd down and a long 10 from the 28. They load up the far side. Sharpie Fields and Joe Juravicius. Mitchell in motion out of the backfield. Over the middle, incomplete. Broken up. It looks like Rice Lockett may have gotten a hand on it, and the Nittany Lions will punt it away.
Great play by Terry Rice Lockett, the middle linebacker. He's got outside linebacker speed, but he makes a break on the football and just gets his hand on it. McQuarrie, intent look. Rice Lockett, 35, will flash, get the hand on it just enough to disrupt Juravicius, and we got a 4th down.
Pat Pigeon sending it away. Here's Jackson to his right from the 25. Trying to get through the hole, and he does at the 40. Jackson trying to get outside, and every time that young man touches the ball, things happen.
You can hear the anticipation in the stands here every time he gets near the football.
Arnold Jackson, a kid from Jacksonville, Florida, and watch what he does here.
Now, if that's me, I get -2 right here. But look at Arnold Jackson, the shake and bake. He breaks the tackle there, and now he's going to try to get to the outside, and you'd better chase him down with 2 or 3 people. Good job by Jason Collins taking the right angle to push him out of bounds.
Last year, Jackson was a partial qualifier, so was only able to practice with the team and not play. And this year, really his first season. They snap it to the inside man, Roundtree, and the play read perfectly by Aaron Collins as he's standing right there.
Tried a little trickery, came right out over the ball, and Roundtree, who's only 5'9", hides right here. Look at him hiding. It looks like the shotgun, and they're going to go direct snap to him. Everybody's running away, but it certainly didn't fool Penn State. And, you know, Ron Cooper's an aggressive coach. He faked 2 punts last year against this team, faked another punt last week. He will go for it.
He lost 4 yards on that play. Make it 5, 2nd down and 15. Redmond setting up, delivers, and Jackson drops his 2nd pass of the day. And once again, let's go to New York and gymnastics. Nice win last week against Stanford. Ron Cooper used to be an assistant coach for Mac Brown when Brown was at Appalachian State. 3rd down and 15. Out of the shotgun. Redmond to Moreau. Moreau is dragged down at the 44-yard line. Anthony King making the tackle. That'll be a gain of 6, and they will come up short and be forced to punt it away. Anthony King, 5'8", sophomore out of Norfolk, Virginia. Played every game as a freshman a season ago. So Eberle goes back at the 10-yard line, and Borsett is standing at the 42. Michigan leading Baylor 7-3. Borsett now. Low spiraling kick. Fair catch signal, and Eberle will just stand on the 10-yard line and spot the ball. 36-yard punt for Jeremy Borsett.
It's kind of interesting. Penn State, the last 3 punts has been in a safe punt return, meaning that they know what Louisville did a year ago. They know what Louisville did a week ago. So what they're doing is just rushing 3 people and playing for any kind of fake punt.
So Joe Paterno turned 70 years old in December. Won the national championship in '94 as well as in '86. Just had 3 other undefeated seasons. 1st down and 10. Cleary, Enos in the backfield. Behind Mike McQuarrie. Here's Enos with a blocker, and he'll go down for a loss. Duran Wiley, the left corner, had force, and he just came in and made the tackle.
You know, we talk about 8 or 9 in the box every week. What does it mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and look at this, 9. They got 9 guys within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. There are too many people for any offense to block. And look what happens. Attack them right in the backyard, -2 yards.
And Wiley known as their best cover corner. 2nd down and 12, loss of 2 on the play. Here's McQuarrie rolling out, got it away. Juravicius with the catch at the 20, and he'll stumble ahead to the 25 and pick up a 1st down. Gain of 14. And Joe Juravicius, senior from Chardon, Ohio, started his career at Penn State as a punter. But look what he's done this season. 10 catches, 180 yards. He's averaging 18 yards per reception, and he has a big 57-yard touchdown here this afternoon.
That is at the 26-yard line.
First down and 10 now from the 26 for the Nittany Lions, leading it 14-7. Handoff, Enos, and nothing doing. Don Bibb jamming him up right there, and he'll gain maybe one.
And when your cornerback's making the tackle at the line of scrimmage on counter tray, you know that Louisville's kicking those corners up and playing real aggressive on the edges. Penn State will note that and go play action.
And that is the end of the first quarter with the score Penn State 14, Louisville 7. We'll return to Cardinal Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. State leading Louisville 14-7. They have the ball at their own 27-yard line. Second down and 9.
This is an important series right here for the Louisville defense. Got to hold Penn State down inside the 30 and force a punt.
Here's a play fake. McQuarrie setting up deep in the pocket. Plenty of time over the middle, incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Brad Scioli. But McQuarrie throws it behind him. And, Mike, I tell you what, he couldn't have any more time in the pocket to throw the football.
Now, he had plenty of time to throw the football. That's why he was able to see Scioli come loose late. But a big injury right there on that play. Number 92, the starting defensive tackle, who's missed the last game and a half for Louisville, limped out. Matt Conway, he's one of their best pass rushers.
Has an ankle strain. Third down and 9. Big defensive play for the Cardinals. Fans getting up on their feet. Scioli lines up as a tight end on the left side. Drew Vicious in motion. Here's a handoff. Enos, and will get a flag as he is ridden down from behind. Kendrick Golston with the tackle. This may be a face masking penalty, though.
Hold. Now here's where you decline a holding penalty and force them to punt the football.
So going against Penn State, and the defense holds once again.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. Fourth down.
And Joe Paterno a little frustrated on the sidelines.
You know, Gus, they averaged 3 penalties a game last year. They've already averaged in their first 2 games 7 per game and had a couple critical ones early. Paterno hates that kind of sloppiness.
That Pigeon running from the 17, and he got off a beauty. Wobbly kick is Jackson from the 20, and the fair catch signal now. And Jackson and the offense will start from their own 20-yard line. 48-yard punt for Pat Pigeon. CBS Sports coverage of NASDAQ college football will continue after this word from your local station. Where Penn State leads the Cardinals 14-7. Dave Logan is on the sidelines with a special guest.
All right, Gus, I know how much you love college basketball, but I don't think you love it any more than the gentleman to my right, Coach Denny Crum. October 18th, you get it all underway. Are there any new issues that we can look forward to this year in college basketball?
Well, there's one major rule change. They've gone back to the 5-second closely guarded call, which will keep teams from holding the ball as much. I've got mixed feelings about it, but it'll probably be okay. That's probably the only major thing.
All right, who are the teams to beat, in your opinion, this year?
Well, you'd have to start with Arizona. I mean, they have everybody back from the championship team. They were real young last year, and they'd be the top team. I think North Carolina, Kansas, there's some really good teams out there, but UCLA, that'll be interesting.
What about the Louisville Cardinals? How's your team looking?
Well, we had 3 senior guards that are all gone, and so we're going to be starting over with new, fresh guards. And I can't tell you how fast they'll come along, but we probably have the most difficult schedule in the nation, and they'll be tested early, so they're either going to learn or we'll get killed.
All right, Coach, we'll see you on the 18th.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, Gus, back to you.
All right, Dave, right now the Cardinals being tested second down and 9 from their 21. Here's a play fake, and Redmond drills, fumbles, and the ball is loose. It looks like Redmond may have picked it up, but Chris Snyder just pinned back his ears and came charging and nailed him once again.
I don't know how Redmond was able to get the football back after he got nailed. Play action. There's jailbreak right there by Snyder. The ball's loose. This ought to be Penn State ball. Look at the hustle by the quarterback, Redmond. Gus, I'm impressed. That takes a lot of guts and a lot of intelligence to get hit like that and still scramble for the football and come up with it.
Snyder, a senior from Chesapeake, Virginia, had 5 sacks a season ago. Played at Indian River High School.
We're down to 7 on the clock. They're going to have to burn a timeout. And they did.
And they do. 13-10 remaining here in the second quarter of play. Chris Redmond trying to shake out the cobwebs. Penn State on top 14-7.
Jim, you know, there's Jerry Sandusky, one of the most respected defensive coordinators in the country. His 21st year as a defensive coordinator. And the other day, look at the amount of years. Sandusky 30, Pence, Joe Paterno 48. I mean, if there's anything this program has, it's continuity.
Louisville now 3rd down at 16. Jackson, the motion man. Redmond over the middle, and it is almost intercepted. Brandon Short had the ball in his hands, and he is unable to come up with it.
Brandon Short turned around at the last minute. I think Redmond's looking at his guy the whole time. He thinks he's got the seam route. Short turns around at the last minute, and that's why he's on defense, folks, because he knocks it down instead of catches it. Good play.
It's a 5th consecutive punt for this Louisville team as Borsett stands at his own 1-yard line.
Everly is deep.
Got it away. Low spiraling punt. Everly from the 36. Running around the right side. That's where the wedge is. Breaks it up the middle. Still on his feet and will be down inside the 45. 47-yard punt, 23-yard return. Now don't forget, coming up next,
with big plays, because that is a team, both teams, with huge big play capabilities.
Great field position for Penn State. McQuarrie fires, Concho Brown, the tight end, with the reception, and he'll be tackled at the 30-yard line. Courtney Dinkins with the hit. That'll be a 12-yard pickup for Concho, a junior out of Alvin, South Carolina.
Good game there. North Carolina and Maryland. It'll be interesting to see if North Carolina has to take Keldorf out again to jumpstart that offense with that Oscar Davenport.
And Michigan leading Baylor in Ann Arbor. To the inside handoff. Harris breaking tackles, sprinting towards the end zone, and he'll be dragged down inside the 5.
There's the problem with the Penn State offense. They have so many weapons. You're focused in on Kurt Enos. Ron Cooper gears the game plan towards Kurt Enos. What do? They fake reverse on the first play for a touchdown, and now they're getting into it. Little guard trap. You hand the ball to Aaron Harris. Fran Ganner told us that if you talk to Penn State's defensive players, they'll tell you that Aaron Harris is every bit as difficult to tackle as Curtis Enos.
First down, goal to go from the 4. Out of the pro set. Short drop in the end zone for Juravicius, and it's incomplete. Good pass by Duran Wiley. He did not bite on the end fake by Juravicius as he ran the fade, and it is an incomplete pass. Second down coming up.
Remember, Wiley's only 6 feet tall. That's why they run that play. They split the 6'5" Juravicius out wide and run the fade route, but an excellent job using his body to position himself between Juravicius and the football.
So second down, goal to goal. Enos Harris in the backfield for Penn State. They give it to Harris over the right side, and he's met at the line of scrimmage and ridden down.
Woo-hoo! Rashad Harris, the 17-year-old freshman, standing up Aaron Harris big time in the hole. This play's going to go to our left, top of the screen, 52, the 17-year-old freshman in the hole. Gus, you got to be a man to stand up. The scrape right there. That's a big hit in the hole by the 17-year-old Harris.
That'll make it third down, goal to go. Enos Harris in the backfield once again. Here's McQuarrie, touchdown, but flags are on the play. Juravicius holding the ball up in the end zone.
Wiley got bumped. Wiley was laying on his back, and I don't know if they're going to get a pick or not here. Prior to the snap.
Legal procedure called against Penn State.
Boy, that's huge. Huge. That gives Louisville an opportunity here. This is how Penn State beats you. They come out a little bit sloppy in the first quarter. It's a 14-7 game, but then they get that run game going, and then it's 21-7, and then they're bringing the pass rush. You've got to hold them to 3 right here.
Louisville so far this season, they've outscored opponents in the second quarter 31-0. Harris, the lone setback. Here's McQuarrie under pressure in the end
Wide
zone.
open.
Touchdown. Wide open. Juravicious beating Wiley. And that is his second touchdown of the game, an 8-yarder.
I think this guy's one of the most underrated receivers in the country. He's 6'5", and you don't think he's that fast, but he's a legitimate 4-5 guy. Inside guy. He's going to take him in and then back to the corner. Watch what happens here. Man-to-man coverage all the way. They make it good. Take him in, now push it back out, and he's going to run away from Duran Wiley, and the ball's delivered on time. Got to do a better job by Wiley. Got to contact him.
So Juravicious now 3 catches, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he has 6 100-yard games in his career. Looks like he may be on his way to number 7.
Once again, if you're a defensive back in bump and run coverage, you got to get a shot on him. He lets him run free. Harris can't get to the quarterback. This is just pitch and catch in the backyard when you've got 4 yards of separation like that. Good protection. Gantos can't get there. Throw it on time and run away from the defensive back, and we've got a 21-7 game late in the second quarter.
Back in a moment. Tall, the Penn State Nittany Lions leading it 21-7. Gus Johnson along with Mike Mayock, and right now is not a time to panic if you're a Louisville fan.
Now, this is what Penn State does to you. You're down 14. You can't panic here. Stay with your offense. Run your game plan. Whatever you do, don't panic, because then they start bringing the kitchen sink. Blitzing. You got to protect your quarterback, Chris Redmond. That's the key right now.
And there's Joe Juravicious. He scored his second touchdown of the game. The first, a 57-yarder. The second, an 8-yarder. And Penn State now 21-7 lead. Here's Roundtree. He'll get a chance to run it for the first time from the 5. Up the middle, tiptoeing, and he'll get to the 20-yard line. Now coming up on the College Football Today halftime report, Jim Nance, Craig James, and Lou Holtz will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from around the country. A look at Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning as he heads into the biggest game of his life later today on CBS. That's all coming up on the College Football Today halftime report. And we have an injured player at the 20. Looks like that may be Roundtree, the return man.
If so, that compounds a problem Louisville's had all year, which is the health of their running backs. This is a true freshman, 5'9", 175. And when we talked to Don Kirkpatrick yesterday, the offensive coordinator, he said, here's a guy with big play capabilities. We need to get him more involved in our offense.
Antonio Roundtree, true freshman out of Bowles High School in Jacksonville. And Bowles, one of the premier programs in the country nowadays. They sent 7 players to Division I football a year ago. 7 players to 1A football.
It's kind of mind-boggling.
And Roundtree a little shaken up. He gets to his feet. The AP top 10, a lot of these games today on CBS. Penn State against Louisville, Tennessee, and Florida.
Hey, I love the eyeballs
top
up
5,
there.
Exactly.
We got 3 of the top 4 today on CBS.
Another one of the biggest games of the day, Washington hosting Nebraska. And you take a look at the other 5. First down now from the 20. The 5th drive that they've started on their own 20-yard line. Quick screen, Jackson. And Jackson really having problems holding on to the football today. Maybe a little nervousness there.
Kind of a bittersweet day for this guy. He opens up the game with the big touchdown reception. That's his 3rd drop already here early in the second quarter. And when you're playing the #1 team in the country, you can't make up for those kind of mistakes. You got to have positive yards.
And there is Antonio Roundtree. They are working on him. It looks like he may be okay and ready to go back into the game.
You know, we have not seen Miguel Montano yet, number 8, their wide receiver. He's a very talented kid. I'd look to see them incorporate him pretty soon.
Second down and long. Redmond to Green. Turns a corner. Dips inside over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Shino Prater, the senior out of Arlington, Texas, with the tackle. And that's the guy that's been really quiet this afternoon after a career day last week. 6 catches, 151 yards, and 3 TDs.
Yeah, we highlighted at the top of the show, number 6, Ivan Green, number 10, Arnold Jackson. The other guy I'd like to see him try and work in is Montano, who they've done a pretty good job at the line of scrimmage pressing him and not letting him off.
Now to make it 3rd down and 3.
Telling graphic.
Montano and Boyd to the far side. Boyd in motion. Here's Redmond underneath, incomplete.
Boy, he forced that one. You can see the rush is starting to get to Redmond. They only rushed 4 times there, and Redmond really forced it. Brandon Short got his hands on the football again.
And Brandon Short, truly a remarkable story. His mom, Andy, passed away when she was 2 years old. And he has really developed into a fine football player growing up in a housing project in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. So here's Everly back deep at the 31-yard line. Forsyth has to bend down to pick up the punt, wobbling. Everly now from the 26. Bounced it outside. Everly with the block at the 45. And he will be cut down at midfield.
24, John Fuqua on the tackle.
Let's go back to New York, where our Jim Nance is standing by. Our score here, 9:58 to go in the second quarter of play.
At the 48.
Penn State starting to turn it on here in the second quarter.
Dangerous time. Field position, 49-yard line.
First down. Here's Enos. And he is rumbling down to the 40. That'll be a pickup of 9, maybe 10.
You know, when they put certain people in the games, it's for a reason. And that time they had their backup fullback, Anthony Cleary, in the game because they want to see him block the football. Watch what happens here on the corner with his block. They're going to lead backside guard, and the fullback on Harris is the key block. Enos reads it correctly, jumps inside. They pick up 9 on first down. Good job by the fullback.
Harris this time. Big hit by Fuqua, but Harris picks up plenty of real estate. And Fuqua is the son of John Frenchie Fuqua, who played on the Steelers' 74 and 75 Super Bowl teams. There's Frenchie.
Check the brim out, man. That is classic. He was Dennis Rodman before that was popular.
And Frenchie was the intended receiver on the immaculate reception. The ball bounced off of an Oakland player, and Franco Harris picked it up, rumbled into the end zone. They beat the Raiders for the AFC Championship game, then went on to win the Super Bowl. So a colorful player, Frenchie Fuqua. And his son is a very nice player, senior out of Detroit, Henry Ford High School. Second in Conference USA in tackles on the season with 22.
He's tough kid. Dinkins came out of the game there, so they bring in number 33, Martise Corley.
First down from the 32 for the Nittany Lions. Here's Enos powering around the right side, and they'll wrap him up from behind. Ramon Brand, the outside linebacker who missed the first 2 games because of personal problems, making a tackle.
Louisville's got problems now because Penn State's got it going exactly the way Penn State wants to play football. Take a look at some of those names.
Kurt Warner, Blair Thomas, DJ Dozier, John Capoletti.
Where's Franco?
Exactly, a Hall of Famer, one of 4.
Lenny Moore.
For Penn State.
Lenny Moore. I mean, that tells you how good Curtis Enos' career has been. He's already passed Lenny Moore and Franco Harris and a host of others.
Second down and 5. Here's Harris looking for daylight. He got some. kept his feet moving and is dragged down inside the 15.
25, Aaron Harris.
This is Penn State football. They threw the
Tackled
ball
by
early. They
Jason
got
Wyatt.
Louisville back on their heels a
First
little
down,
bit. Now
Penn
they do what
State.
they do best, which is come out and run the football.
That's a gain of 12 so far. Penn State 112 yards rushing. They come into this game averaging 217 per game. And when you talk about running backs, there are just some great running backs in the Big Ten Conference this year. We saw one last week in Robert Holcomb, Cedric Irvin from Michigan State.
And they got to go down to Oklahoma next week. Louisville does and take on Damon Parker.
Here's Enos. Kendrick Golston making first contact, and probably the best of them all so far statistically. It's a kid from Iowa, Banks, who rushed for 314 yards last week against Tulsa.
Yeah, by the time the season ends, though, we've got a penalty here. They're going to bring that back. By the time the season ends, you'll see Enos's numbers jump. I think Irvin's going to have a big season. Holcomb, you know, is going to gain his 140, 150 every week. They got quite a stable in that Big Ten.
We have a procedure illegal formation foul against the offense. 6 men on the line.
Now, at some point, Louisville's going to have to take advantage. Remember, on the last drive, they had a procedure penalty on the touchdown. What happened? Penn State came back and scored anyway. They've got to take advantage of this because you can't let Penn State separate any further.
How to make it first down and a long 15. Sean Fields splits wide to the bottom of your screen. Tikas Pettigrew, the motion man at the top. Out of the eye. Play action. McQuarrie steps up, and it is caught. Pettigrew with a nice catch as he climbed the ladder, and he will be knocked down inside the 5-yard line.
They've
That's
got
a
the
pickup of 14.
two big play guys in the game at the same time, Pettigrew and Fields. What happens is we've got motion here. He's going to come across and then come back against the green and watch the quarterback, McQuarrie, do a great job waiting for him to clear the first linebacker right there, and you hit him in the hole. And Pettigrew, who had a little hamstring injury, does the rest. That's an excellent play by Penn State.
Pettigrew, sophomore from Winston-Salem. And he was the 1995 North Carolina High School Player of the Year. Also played for Jerry Dunn's team. A basketball player at Penn State a year ago. And so far this quarter, total offense, 101 yards for the Nittany Lions, as those big fellas up front have really started to lean on Louisville.
We've talked about big plays. It's time for Louisville's defense to step up and make a play.
Enos. Touchdown, Penn State.
That's running downhill. That was easy. And they bring that big Ostrowski out at guard, Phil Ostrowski. And once you hand the ball to Enos with the corner bumped down like that, you're not even going to touch him. Take a look at it from a reverse angle. Good block at the point of attack there, and then look at the guard come out. Ostrowski, he seals the corner. Enos is just going to walk in. Phil Ostrowski's their most talented offensive lineman in this Penn State team. He's the guy that pulls most of the time.
Enos, 10 carries, 64 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the extra point is good.
Kick is good. Penn State 28, Louisville 7.
49, Anthony Cleary, the fullback, will help the guard Ostrowski seal the corner right there. And at this point, Gus, the only guy with a shot to tackle him is the referee.
6:46 to go. Penn State blowing this one open. They lead at 28-7. The second quarter, Penn State really opening it up now. They lead at 28-7. And Halloween right around the corner. That's a pretty ugly looking guy there. Jack-o'-lantern. Roundtree from the 10. And some serious hitting going on special teams. Aaron Gatton with the tackle. And Penn State, they're out there tailgating in this area of the country, known for some of the best tailgating in the country. Here's the tailgating handbook.
Where's BC?
Well, look, there's Louisville. They have the #2 tailgating team in the country. Penn State, #5. Ohio State and Illinois behind them. And look at the Cardinal.
Got a little weeble there.
Trying to pay off the ref. Out of the gun, Redmond. Play fake. Over the middle, complete. Montano wide open. and he will be down at the 35, gain of 15, and that is Miguel's first catch of the day.
That's the guy I like here. They're paying a lot of attention to Green and Jackson. He's the most sure-handed receiver they had. He did a good job on the 2 deep, working his way underneath on about a 15-yard dig route. Excellent job.
And he is 33 catches shy of tying Jamie Asher for the all-time lead in receptions. Asher now tied in with the Redskins. First down from the 35. Nelson on the corner. Looks like they're blitzing. Here they come. They give it to Moreau. Breaks the tackle, and he got up to the 40-yard line. Brandon Short unable to hold on, but he has to be finished up by Shino Prater. Now today's NASDAQ Scholar Athlete of the game is Aaron Collins of Penn State. NASDAQ's commitment to the investment in our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the Penn State General Scholarship Fund. And Aaron, another one of the many college kids that have played at Penn State. 5 brothers, 19 in the family, 17 have gone on to earn 4-year degrees.
Ivan Green got a little head start there.
Yeah, left 65. Take it back 5.
And North Carolina at halftime leading Maryland, Michigan, trying to pull away from Baylor.
Procedure against Louisville, 5 yards.
You know, that really hurts Louisville because you can't panic here. You've got it going. You complete a pass, you pick up 6 on a run, and now you're back again to 2nd and 10 or 11. Ron Cooper has got to calm himself down, calm that team down, and try and get 7 before halftime. That's the key right now. Try and close the separation.
3rd time in school history they're taking on the #1 team in the country. 91 they faced Florida State and lost 40-15. Redmond moving out of the pocket, delivers, and it is complete. Donnell Gordon with the reception, and he steps out of bounds, a senior from Pee Wee Valley, Kentucky. And don't forget the big game.
He's in reference to Tennessee continuing to go to the Citrus Bowl. He said you can't spell citrus without UT.
Oh, man. So they are pulling out all the stops in Gainesville this week. 3rd down and 6. Redmond under pressure again. Pump fakes. Got a wide man. Montano at the 30. Cuts it inside, and he'll go down inside the 15. 47-yard pickup for Miguel Montano.
And that's exactly what Louisville needs. And now they've got to capitalize in the red zone. Did a great job picking up the blitz inside. Montano, top of your screen, working. Exactly what happens. Anthony King tries to take the big hit on the bump and run. He misses them wide open. Montano's going to get the ball down to the 14-yard line. And Gus, they have to capitalize here. Got to get 7.
So Redmond will line up in the shotgun. First down from the 14. Redmond over the middle. Touchdown! Ivan Green in the seam, wide open.
Complete, 14 yards for the touchdown.
Touchdown. Chris Redmond of his high school teammate, Ivan Green.
And they moved Green all over to create just that mismatch. Him on middle linebacker short.
Here's the extra point. Hilbert got it up, and it is good. Chris Redmond now 13 of 19, 210 yards. Cardinals hanging in there. They're down 28-14. Green just scored a 14-yard touchdown. He and Chris Redmond go all the way back to 8th grade when they played for a junior high team called the Centurions. Redmond threw his first ever touchdown to that man there, Ivan Green, and he has been his favorite target ever since. Green now with the touchdown today. He's got 6 on the season, and Louisville cuts it to a 28-14 lead.
See, he's got wide receiver speed and a tight end body, and that's why he's so deadly. You can't let a linebacker get isolated on him, or he's going to beat you.
At 47 catches a year ago at fullback,
For Louisville, right. Didn't have one carry.
So Hilbert sends it away. Sharpie Fields back deep, and he thought about it and takes a knee.
Now what happens is the two safeties here have half the field, and that leaves Ivan Green on the linebacker, Brandon Short, right there. Safeties are going to react too late. Green's got one-on-one with Brandon Short, and the pass is thrown on time. That's like taking candy from a baby if you let Ivan Green work on a middle linebacker like Brandon Short.
And a nice touch by Chris Redmond. He is really able to chuck that ball in there, putting it almost wherever he wants it. So here's McQuarrie.
And the crowd is back in it.
From the 20. McQuarrie, short roll, got it away. Great catch, Concho Brown, and he'll pick up 9. Fuqua there to usher him out of bounds.
Man, oh man, did Frenchie's son put a hit on 270-pound Concho Brown. Tight end slow block, then he goes, releases out into the flat. Now watch 24 come up, one-handed catch, boom. That's about 190 on 270, and he gave it everything he had.
Concho with the soft hands. He's a basketball player out of South Carolina. Thought about playing ball at Penn State, but wants to be a one-sport athlete. Here's Enos now, lowering the boom over the 30, close to the 34-yard line. Now coming up on the College Football Today halftime report, Jim Nantz, Craig James, and Coach Holtz will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from around the country. Plus a look at Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning as he heads into the biggest game of his life later today on CBS. That's all coming up on the College Football Today halftime report.
I think Bobby Stoops is going to send a couple people after Peyton today.
I think he is definitely going to be sending a couple. Second down and 7 from the 33. McQuarrie looking deep. He'll wind up, throwing the long ball, and it is caught. Juravicious over the shoulder. Touchdown, Penn State. 67 yards.
Juravicious did a great job of using that 6'5" body to shield Bibb away from the football, but I really thought Bibb could make the play there. There's no safety in the hole. It's man-to-man coverage. We told you McQuarrie likes to go deep. Look how Juravicious uses his body to shield Bibb. And Don Bibb, if he can't get the fullback, he's got to make the tackle. Curtis Enos. And the headbutt, huh?
And what a big day it's turning out to be for Joe Juravicious. 4 catches, 150 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And the extra point is good. So Penn State responding to the score from Louisville. They now lead it 35-14. (35-14), 3:47 to go. Another big play by Joe Juravicious.
I think he's a much better player than the recognition he receives nationally. 6'5", 230. He runs a legit 4.5. That's the rap on him. He can't run. Let me tell you right now, he can run. The question is whether or not he can get off press coverage, and I think he's big enough and strong enough to do it.
And talking to the Louisville defensive coaches, they said they were going to try to press him a little bit today. Have they, Mike?
They've tried to, they've shaded it a little bit. They've taken a little bit of inside away from him. Then they back off. That time he got nice free release.
His kick will be short. Arnold Jackson comes up to field it, slides down, and he dances his way over the 20-yard line up to the 22. 4-yard return.
Well, the key on the touchdown is no free safety in the hole. He's going to disappear. Juravicious is going to come down here. There's no bump. And once he disappears up like this guy can't get back. Strong safety disappears. Free safety bites on the play action, and then look, it's one-on-one coverage, no free safety in the hole, and Juravicious uses that big frame. It's all over.
So Louisville now 3:37 to go. First down from their own 24. Jackson, Montano, the receivers at the bottom of your screen. Redmond underneath. Here's Green, and he is tackled at the 30. Really had to thread the needle there. Dangerous pass for Chris Redmond. Brandon Short making the tackle for the Nittany Lions. Don't forget, coming up later today, right here on CBS, the biggest game of the season so far, Tennessee and Florida. Michigan starting to take charge against the Bears at home.
6. 2nd and 4.
That'll make it 2nd down and 4. Ball on the 30-yard line. Low snap. Here's Redmond to the far side. Green with the catch. He's got a 1st down and is slammed out of bounds by Collins.
Pass complete to Ivan Green.
And the fans here at Cardinal Stadium, they really don't like that. Anthony King also contributing on the tackle.
You know, Penn State plays a nickel defense differently than everybody else in the country because they have a ton of great linebackers. So what Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator, does, he brings in an extra linebacker and takes out a down lineman because they have so many good linebackers out here. So he brings in number 31, Mac Morrison, and occasionally the true freshman, LeVar Arrington, and then he's got 4 guys that can really run and fly to the football at the linebacker position.
1st down for the Cardinals at the 37. Redmond again, pump fake, in trouble, and he goes down.
Chris Redmond, the ball carrier.
Chris Snyder with the tackle. And Redmond. Jerry Sandusky, he was funny when we spoke with him earlier this week at State College. He said, hey, when you asked him, Mike,
how often was he going to blitz?
He said, it depends on how I feel.
And then I asked Joe Paterno later, I said, Coach, you know, I think he was lying to me a little bit. I asked him how much you guys are going to blitz, and Sandusky said, it depends how I feel. And Joe kind of winked us and said, he's not going to be in a very good mood, fellas.
He said, it depends on who comes out, either Tarzan or Jane. Coach Sandusky got a holding penalty called against his defense. And another 1st down for the Cardinals.
He doesn't look like he's in a very good mood, does he? I think he's Tarzan right now. He's bringing the house.
1st down.
1st and 10. The ball is at the
46-yard line for Louisville.
There was their switch.
Here's the inside handoff. Floyd darting through the hole, and he'll be close to midfield.
Initial tackle by number
55 to go here in the 2nd quarter.
Also there for Pegasus.
Sandusky does a great job moving his personnel around. Mike McQuarrie does a great job throwing post route, but what he does is he takes Brandon Short, kicks him to a down defensive tackle, and then lets those other talented linebackers run sideline to sideline.
2nd down and 8 from the 49.
Just shift it again.
Stepping up. He's got running room. Nice feet at the 50. He'll slide down at the 45-yard line, but did not get out of bounds.
That's the key. You see right there, he's forced to burn a timeout. Gus, you called it exactly right. I would think a kid with his head, with a father who's a high school coach, would have a better presence and be able to get out of bounds there. You need the time that's left on the clock here. Here it is again. 5-step. Now, good feet here. Steps up in the pocket. He's looking to see if he's got any options. At this point, accelerate to the sideline, not up the field. Get out of bounds. Don't be forced to burn your last time out.
Now, coming up this Monday, it's the premiere of a new series from the Purdue South, premiering Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central at CBS. And there's one guy that may be watching it.
Yeah, he's a Brooklyn guy, right?
He's a Brooklyn guy.
I'm not sure if it's South or North, but he's Brooklyn.
32 years at Penn State as a head coach. And Joe Paterno, his first year as a head coach at Penn State, look what was going on in the country. LBJ, the president, the #1 car, the Volkswagen, the #1 album, the Beatles' Rubber Soul. The Packers won the Super Bowl 1966.
Yeah, how old were you then?
I wouldn't even thought about it at that time. I was born in 67.
Man, I'm working with a youngster. You know, his senior year in high school, their only loss was to St. Cecilia's of Brooklyn. Pretty fair young coach at St. Cecilia's, a guy named Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, he won a few games. 3rd down and short. Here's Redmond getting out of the pocket. Let it go. Intercepted. Collins with the interception, and he could go all the way. Aaron Collins. Touchdown, Penn State.
Pass intercepted by Aaron Collins for the touchdown.
Takes the good with the bad with the young quarterback, and that time Chris Redmond made a horrible decision. And what compounds it is he was looking right at the receiver the whole time. He saw Aaron Collins the whole way. He just felt like he could jam it in there. Number 6 is going to work his way back outside on Aaron Collins. You can't throw the football. He's in perfect position on his inside shoulder. In that situation, if you don't have anybody, throw it away. But give Aaron Collins credit. A, great coverage. B, he made an excellent break on the football.
And Collins got a great block from freshman Justin Kirpakis as he leveled Ivan Green, who tried to get back downfield and make the tackle. So a 57-yard interception return. The extra point no good. 41-14 our score. To get a chance to play against them one more time, as well as just to enjoy college football.
Yeah, that's part of it, you know, Gus. He says he came back for the total college experience, and I respect that, but I really think deep down inside he wants a piece of the Gators.
There's a kick, wobbly kick, picked up by Jackson at the goal line, and he wisely, he takes a safety. Arnold Jackson takes a safety in the end zone, and there's an inexperienced guy. Jackson replacing Antonio Roundtree. Roundtree, who was hurt, and Jackson put back there to return kicks now, gives up a safety.
Just a minute ago, it's 28-14. Now watch what happens with Roundtree. He steps back, and he walks into the end zone. He's got to take that back out again, because once he takes a knee, it's 2 points.
I think he thought that he had caught the ball in the end zone.
Right.
He was about a half step shy of the goal line.
Exactly. Once he catches the football and takes it back under his own impetus, he's got to run it out again.
So Arnold Jackson, this will be a day to remember, both positives and negatives for him. Big touchdown in the first quarter, but he's made some mistakes, dropped some passes, and
you know, it's typical of talent.
Exactly.
Typical of talent. That's a young man who can do some great things on one side, but on the other side, you got to put up with the drops.
And there's the coach putting up with it, Ron Cooper. Now coming up next on CBS, the number 3 Florida Gators, 83,000 fans on hand down at the Swamp, will battle the number 4 Volunteers from the state of Tennessee. Gators will try to make the Volunteers their bait for the 5th consecutive time. Sean McDonough and Terry Donahue down in Gainesville. They'll have the play-by-play for you coming up after this one. Boyson punts it away. Here's Everly from the 22. Everly breaks it open. Trying to get to the corner. He's got to beat Borsett, and he's still running, knocked out of bounds at the 10.
Everly on the return.
65-yard return for Chris Everly, a junior from Beverly, New Jersey.
Wow. They can beat you in so many different ways. Everly is about as good a tailback as you could find around the country, but he's got to sit in the bench behind Curtis Enos. Takes it straight up the field, 15 yards, breaks it to his left, finds a seam. At that point, it's him and Duran Wiley, and he's going to run through Wiley and force the kicker right there to just nudge him out of bounds, Duran Wiley.
So first down from the 10. Here's McQuarrie in the end zone, incomplete, and he had Juravicius open again.
And look at him, you know it. Mike McQuarrie, 5th-year player, 1st-year starter. Give him a ton of credit, and he's got a good arm. He's not one of those guys that can just be out there not to lose games. This guy's going to help Penn State win games. Big play capabilities.
Backed up both Kerry Collins and Wally Richardson. Having a good day today. 9 of 16, is yet to throw an interception on the season, and this is his 3rd game. Second down.
2nd down and 10.
Juravicius, the motion man. Enos. There's a big fella. Touchdown, Penn State.
Man, you could hear pad on pad when he ducked right into Fuqua.
That's 6'1", 233 pounds.
That offensive line's just blowing people away right now. Double tight end set. Little draw action. Fagan, the tackle, does a good job of walling off the linebacker, and he does the rest. Draw play, pass situation. Watch him lower the pads. Runs over Fuqua. It's a touchdown.
12 carries, 77 yards, 3 touchdowns for Curtis Enos. And here is Travis Forney into a 50-point. It's good. Curtis Enos, first onto the scene last year, 241 yards in the kickoff classic, and his team leads 50-14. 50-14, that is not a false score. In the first half, 34 seconds to go, Gus Johnson, Mike Mayock, wow.
A minute and a half ago, it's 28-14. We've got a ball game. It just showcases the explosiveness of this Penn State team.
So the ball fielded and advanced to the 35-yard line for the Cardinals. 30 seconds remaining. Aaron Collins had that interception return for the Nittany Lions. So Chris Redmond and company come back onto the field to see what they can put together with 30 seconds to go.
That last 2 minutes really showcases the entire team. Their defense gets it done with the interception return. Their special teams with Everly takes it down to the 6-yard line, and their offense has been doing it all day. This is a complete package.
And they stay on the ground. This is Donnell Gordon. Gordon tries to get around the corner, but he is leveled. LeVar Arrington, true freshman, along with Brandon Short coming up with the tackle.
How good is this kid? Player of the year by consensus last year. Gus, we watched him at practice. He's a special athlete.
And that is the end of the first half of play as the Nittany Lions head into the locker room with a 50-14 lead over Louisville. Jim Nance, Craig James, and Coach Holtz will be along with College Football Today right after this word from your local station. To 14. CBS Sports coverage of NASDAQ College Football will continue after this message. We are ready to start the second half of play from Cardinal Stadium here in Louisville, Kentucky. And at one time in the second quarter, the score was 28-14. We thought we had a football game, but Penn State showed why they are the #1 team in the nation quickly.
And we talked about big play capabilities, and Penn State showed they get it done on offense with the quick strikes to Jurevicius. On special teams, Everly with the big punt return. And you talk about lightning, look at the possessions. The last 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns, especially that last one. They started on their own 20, go 80 yards in 57 seconds.
And look at the time, how long it took them to score those last 4 touchdowns. Curtis Enos, really solid first half for him, and he had 76 yards rushing on 12 carries. So Penn State will receive to start the second half of play. Here's Hilton. And we are underway. Shoffey Fields. 8 yards in his own end zone. He will take a knee. And the statistics from the first half of play.
No surprise, key right here, rushing yards, 132-7. You went into the game expecting that, but what happens? You've got Curtis Enos, 12 carries for 76, and Aaron Harris, 5 carries for 48. Time of possession really deceiving in the game of football. 12 minutes versus 17, but the score is 50-14.
Big first half for Joe Jurevicius as Mike McQueary comes onto the field. McQueary threw for 205 yards in the first half, 9 of 16. And Jurevicius, there he is, 4 catches, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns, the long of 67 yards. Here's the handoff. Cleary picks up the first down, and he gets over the 30-yard line up to the 32. That'll be a game of 11. Don't forget, coming up next, it's Tennessee and Florida. Peyton Manning, Steve Spurrier, they will battle each other once again, and we'll see if Peyton can finally figure out the Gators.
I remember when he was a sophomore, he had him figured out for a half. It was a big first half for Tennessee. They took a big lead in. Second half, I think Florida scored about 35 consecutive points to go away. Throw it on first down over the middle. Cuncho Brown with the reception, and he is tackled by Fuqua at the 45-yard line. 14-yard gain for the big tight end. Coach Paterno, unbeaten 5 times, 2 national championships, 68, 69, 73. The national championships coming in 86 and 94. You know, 68 and 69, they win 22 games in a row, and they don't get the national championship either year. Here's Harris.
with a seam, cut it inside, and he'll be chopped down by Fuqua inside the 45. Another 12-yard gain. So Penn State just marching the ball down the field. Mike Gantos with the tackle as they march it down on their opening drive of the second half.
I love Filostrowski, number 64, the guard right there pulling out. He gets a seal block on the end, number 96, Derek Kennedy. And when that happens, your running back's running downhill. When you seal that in with the guard, which is a very difficult block, your back is running downhill.
And some of the scores from New York, Maryland, trailing North Carolina. Here's a counter play again. Enos met the backfield, and he is dropped for a loss. Terry Rice Lockett, the middle linebacker, stepping up, jamming the hole, and making the tackle. That's a loss of 3.
Good job by Gantos and Rice Lockett there.
And Terry Rice Lockett, interesting story. Here's a young man that was recruited to Louisville as a wide receiver, but they needed linebackers. He said, hey, I'll switch. And when he first started playing linebacker, he could only bench press about 180 pounds, squat 200. He couldn't even lift with the linebackers. They'd make him lift with the defensive backs.
Yeah, he's a man now, though. He goes about 245.
And he benches 400, squats 600. So he can lift with anybody he wants to nowadays. Enos. And Enos still on his feet. What a bruising running back. Curtis Enos adds a pickup of 7 yards, and he did that all by himself. Harris with the tackle. And Curtis Enos last year, he really burst onto the national scene. 241 yards rushing against Southern California. And his career numbers, take a look at him. He's the 13th Nittany Lion to reach 2,000 career yards. He's got 80 today. Jervicius in motion. He'll line up on the wing. McQuarrie. And it is incomplete. And Fuqua breaking up the play. Scioli, the intended receiver. No flags are thrown.
And knowing Joe Paterno, my guess here is that the first team will play a series or two just to try and get him sharp and get a little continuity going before he calls the dogs off. He's not generally somebody that tries to run the score up.
And that's interesting, especially with Tennessee and Florida getting ready to play this afternoon. The 3rd and 4th ranked teams in the nation. Fair catch signal, and Jackson will get it. A couple of years ago against Indiana, he didn't run up the score against the Hoosiers, and that may have cost him the national championship.
Yeah, he was up by a couple touchdowns, called the dogs off, only beat him by 6. That came back to haunt him.
Lions playing in their final non-conference game of the season before the Big Ten schedule starts with Illinois in 2 weeks. They've won 18 straight non-conference games. And leading right now 50-14. Louisville now first down from their own 13-yard line.
Ivan Green's at fullback, I believe.
Here's a play fake. Redmond under pressure again, and he goes down. This time at the 5-yard line. Jim Nelson and Courtney Brown. Now Louisville all time against Big Ten teams 3-7 with 1 tie. They have 2 victories in the last couple of years over Big Ten teams. Last week against Illinois and last year against Michigan State. And there's Ron Cooper, who served as an assistant coach at Minnesota and at Notre Dame with Arlu Holtz. And he's having one of those days.
Got a young team. He's going to have to develop these guys. A year or 2 from now, they have a chance to be special.
Here's Redmond passing out of his own end zone. Got it to Moreau. And Moreau will dive ahead to the 13-yard line. Nelson again on the tackle. And the Penn State fans, Mike, they have no problems following their team around the country. The Winnebagos were parked in the lot yesterday. And they began tailgating, looking over those TV charts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, some of the Louisville fans were telling us they're not used to seeing people show up so early and so much in force. And these, you know, that love you blue, the blue and white, those Bagos were all over the parking lot here last night.
3rd down and 10. Here comes a blitz. Redmond steps up and he'll get rid of it. Wise decision. Brandon Short had him, and Redmond gets rid of it in time to avoid the sack.
Boy, was that a tough series for Redmond. I mean, they're just blitzing everybody. They can't stop it. Brandon Short's coming off the middle. Snyder and Brown on the ends. It's a learning experience for that young man.
So Eberle stands at his own 43-yard line. Borseth 1 yard into his own end zone. Eberle back, and he'll catch it at the 32. Changes direction. Out to the near side, still on his feet, spinning, and he'll be drilled at the 40. 51-yard punt, 8-yard return. 10:31 to go. Penn State with the ball on offense after this.
Nasdaq College Football on CBS is sponsored by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. Hurt Plus, the shampoo that conditions too. For simply great hair, simply. And by the document company, Xerox.
So Penn State leading this football game 50-14. 10:31 to go in the third quarter of play. And we got a new quarterback in the game, Devin Thompson. For Penn State, he is a junior out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. And on the season, he's thrown the ball 9 times, 3 of 9.
I thought typically that's just a class move by Joe Paterno. Up 50-14 at half. He gives the starters 1 series in the second half, and now he's going to call the dogs off. Although in this case, there's still a heck of a lot of talent running around on the offense for this Penn State club.
So Brian Brozeski, walk-on freshman, splits wide to the far side. And Brozeski in motion. Starting to finally take care of Baylor, and the Nittany Lions get up to the 45.
Tackle is by number 35, Terry Rice.
Interesting guy right there. Coach McHale, the offensive line coach at Louisville, came from Southern Miss, where he recruited a young quarterback by the name of Brett Favre. Was in his office yesterday. Pictures all over the place, not only the Cardinal, but also Mark had several signed pictures up on the wall of Favre, autographed to him, thanks coach, etc., etc.
A lot of subs in the game right now for Penn State. Mitchell and Eberle in the backfield. And it is complete. This is Brozeski with the catch inside the 35-yard line, and he's got a first down. And here's a young man, not an invited walk-on, a true walk-on, just came off the street, tried out for the program. Now he's a third-string wide receiver. And Joe Paterno, at the beginning of training camp or after training camp, said that this kid is remarkable in terms of how much he's improved between his first year and this season.
He's got Juravicious written all over him. 6'6", 219. If he develops that well, it's a great story.
Here's Mitchell hopping through the hole. He'll go down at the 25. Fuqua with the tackle again, and the second unit driving the football down the field.
There's some good football players on this unit. Mitchell, number 32, he will see more and more playing time as this season continues, because what they like about him is a great change of pace back. And let's face it, they've got Harris, they've got Enos, 2 big, strong guys. This guy's different. He's lightning to their thunder.
Second down and 5 from the 27. Here's Mitchell. Still on his feet. Get outside. Touchdown, Penn State. Cordell Mitchell, 27-yard touchdown. And he's a sophomore from Syracuse, New York, the fastest man on the team.
Talk about a change of pace. This kid can really fly. He breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage of 24, Fuqua. Watch Fuqua. He flashes right there, misses the tackle, and at this point, when he cuts it back outside, Bibb has no shot at catching him. This is a sub 4.4 kind of kid. He can really fly.
And Mitchell reminds Penn State fans of Lydell Mitchell. And when Harris and Mitchell are in the backfield, that's Aaron Harris. It's going to remind them of Franco and Lydell when they were in the backfield, so they are waiting for that to happen as well.
How special a group was that?
Extra point attempt is up and good. And Mike McQuarrie done for the day. Penn State cruising. 13, 8:40 remaining here in the third quarter of play. Gus Johnson, Mike Mayock, and I tell you, when you look at what this Penn State team is able to do against Pitt and also against Temple, they broke out, but not really like they have today. I mean, they have really come out and shown why they're the #1 team in the country.
It's hard to get picky when you've put 57 on the board, but I'll tell you a couple things. Joe Paterno won't be happy. The first quarter, they were sloppy with penalties, and they started slow. And when you get in the meat of that Big Ten schedule, you can't win games that way.
Here's Jackson from his own 6, returning it straight ahead. Jackson, and he will go down at the 29-yard line. Now next on CBS.
As far as I'm concerned, that's Doug Johnson, only in his 3rd start at Florida.
Also Jaquez Green with Riedel Anthony and Ike Hilliard gone. We'll see if he can be that big-time receiver that Steve Spurrier has had in the past. Now let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York. Faded at the beginning of the season. They were not in the top 10. And Colorado came into Ann Arbor last week and went home after getting spanked.
I'm a big believer that the polls shouldn't even begin until October. I mean, that's a classic example.
Now, we told you in the opening of our game about both of these teams with the ability to break big plays. Well, Arnold Jackson did on their first series a 65-yard touchdown, but then it was all Penn State. Juravicius a 57-yard reception, a 67-yard reception. Collins a 57-yard interception return for a touchdown. And there are the big plays. Enos a 29-yard touchdown run. He's had a solid game. He's on the sidelines right now.
And that doesn't even include Everly's punt return. It was plus or minus 60 yards down the 6-yard line.
3rd down and 10 from the 29. And we will get a whistle.
They might not have gotten that off in time.
Play clock has gone all the way down to 0.
Dead ball, delay game on the offense.
Now, this is where Chris Redmond's only a sophomore. I really like this young quarterback. I think he's got great days ahead of him. He started out 6 for 6 today, but that pass rush has been too much. The key that Ron Cooper and all these guys have to do, they just have to hang in there, play as well as they can, and come out of here feeling good about yourself, or at least as good as you can when you're getting spanked like this. Keep your poise.
Talk about another young quarterback that's looking to lead his team, Tim Couch in Kentucky. They are playing across the river today in Indiana against the Hoosiers. Here's Redmond firing, and he's got Montano for a gain of 18. Brad Johnson with the tackle, and Kentucky will be on CBS next week, and they take on the Florida Gators.
And that's a good time for Kentucky to play Florida a week after the big game. There's going to be a letdown either way for Florida after this week.
Tim Couch came in here the first game of the season against Louisville, threw for close to 400 yards. Al Mummy's moves, spread him out, throw it vertically down the field offense. Otis Floyd, big hole. And he'll be wrapped up at the 47. Jim Nantz really busy today. Let's go to him once again. Robert Holcomb had 165 yards rushing last week against this Illinois team, against this Louisville team. Here's Floyd now. And he'll be driven out of bounds by the freshman LaVar Arrington. Now after the game, our college football coverage rolls on with CBS Sportsline. You'll get scores, highlights, breaking news, plus individual team pages for all 112 Division 1A schools. And don't forget to cast your vote in our top 25 team fan poll. It's all at our cyberspace address, cbs.sportsline.com. Louisville driving, 2nd down and short.
Press coverage.
Twin receivers to both sides of the field. Comes the blitz inside. Hand up. Floyd is stacked up. Tell you what a hit. It looks like Fleischhauer may have stood him up. But I think Floyd will get close to the 1st down, but he will pay dearly for it.
Now, Fleischhauer did not start the season as a starter. Mike Fuzzin was in ahead of him, tore a hamstring, and then Fleischhauer stepped in and has played so well. There's 95 fly. Look at the hit. Shoulder pads underneath the grill. That's a big hit, but a good job by Floyd of holding on to the football.
1st down for the Cardinals at the 36-yard line of Penn State. to the far side, and it is caught at the 30-yard line. And the catch is made by number 88, Charles Sheffield, sophomore out of Covington, Kentucky. And the schedule for the Cardinals coming up. They'll face another tough running back next week in Damon Parker.
And then they got to go
Oklahoma.
to Southern Miss, which is never an easy trip. I mean, it doesn't get any easier for these guys after this.
Conference season starts with Southern Mississippi, then Tulane, Houston ECU, Cincinnati, and the rest. First down.
First and 10.
From the 26. Floyd. Chased down and dragged down by Arrington at the 21. And let's head back to New York. Jim Nance. All right, Jim, tough SEC teams. Big SEC game going on today. LSU and Auburn. That one will be kicking off later on this evening. Both of those teams ranked high in the top 25. Floyd got a block in front of him, and he is nailed from behind. Some hard hitting going on. That's time. It's Justin Kerpakis, the freshman from Pittsburgh. Went to Central Catholic, and Kerpakis delivering a blow.
Regardless of the score, there is great hitting going on out there by both clubs.
Second team in now for Penn State. Floyd now getting the carries, 9 for 54 yards. He's a lone setback. Arnold Jackson in the slot on the near side. There's the slant pattern. Mosby with the catch as it was thrown behind him, but he did a good job holding on. Sophomore from Louisville. And they rule it incomplete. They rule it incomplete. Looks like Askari Adams may have been on that play. And Mosby will come off the field. Now, we had a chance last week to meet his mom, who comes to virtually every practice to watch her son play. And he was a walk-on and is getting an opportunity to play now at Louisville here in the second half.
5'8", 160, but quick.
Out of the eye. And this is Gordon, and he'll pick up a first down. Donnell Gordon. Don't forget, big game is coming up next. Down at the Swamp, Florida and Tennessee. Number 3 against number 4.
I'm one of those guys that Tennessee's got to show me. You know, I mean, especially in Gainesville. The only question mark there is Doug Johnson, I think, the Florida quarterback.
A lot of people were criticizing the Florida offense when they only scored, I believe it was 21 points against Southern Mississippi. But as we have seen, Southern Mississippi, a very good football team. They may be a top 25 team themselves.
They're the kind of team, like in East Carolina, both in Conference USA, that other teams hate to play. They give you so many looks. They're so talented at the skill position. They're just like snakes. They can't wait to get a piece of you, and you don't want to play them.
Central Florida scaring a lot of teams as well this season.
That's a national in my mind for the Big East. And they've already got one club in Florida. The Big East needs some other people to step up there, increase their television base, increase their recruiting base. And I think UCF is a natural.
And another look at the AP top 10. Penn State cruising today. They'll be 3-0. Washington and Nebraska facing each other today in Seattle. And Washington looking to test what they have out there. Florida, Tennessee coming up next right here on CBS. Florida State taking on Clemson at Clemson today. North Carolina, Nebraska, Michigan beating Baylor, Ohio State against Arizona, and LSU Auburn. That game coming up later on this evening. And there's Joe Paterno, 70 years young, still roaming the sidelines for Penn State. He had lunch with him earlier this week, and a lot of fun just getting an opportunity. Here's Montano, touchdown, Louisville, 15 yards.
Big time arm strength there by Chris Redmond. Montana beat Johnson on the post route.
First touchdown of the season for Montano. Joe Paterno continues to look on. And as you mentioned, Mike, he will scold his team for some things when they watch the film of this one.
Joe's a technician. He wants it perfect all the way through. You can see the outside receiver, number 8, Montana, beats Johnson inside. You can't give up that inside position. Perfectly thrown football, and it had to be. And Johnson gets beat. Bump coverage on the inside. Good protection. When Redmond gets protection and can set his feet, he throws the football as well as anybody. And a good job by Montano.
So there's Miguel Montano, a walk-on, came into this program out of St. Xavier High School here in Louisville, ran a 4.8.
Illegal participation by the defense. 12 men on the field. The penalty is declined. The PAT is good.
And you know what, Gus? Back in 1968, Penn State was playing in an Orange Bowl and was the beneficiary of a 12-man defensive front by Missouri. They got a second shot to go for 2 with no time left on the clock and beat them on the extra point, 14-13, to go 11-0.
There's Montano. As we mentioned, he was a walk-on to this squad, and he came in running a 4.8, has worked really hard to get better, runs a 4.5 now, and is poised to become the all-time leading receiver as he came into this game needing 33 catches for the season to replace Jamie Asher. Don't forget, tonight on CBS beginning at 8 Eastern Time, it's America's Night of Television. Don't miss Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, followed by Early Edition. Then it's one of my favorite shows, Walker, Texas Ranger, with Chuck Norris. It's all coming up this evening. So the scoring drive, 12 plays, 71 yards. Montano, 15-yard touchdown reception. Chuck Norris, Jim Kelly used to have some great karate movies when I was growing up as a kid.
Can you go?
No, not at all.
I mean, you're talking like you can go.
Not at all.
Can you go and can you throw? Is what I want to know.
No, I can't. No, I cannot. Here's Hilbert. He will kick this one out of the end zone. Good leg strength there by John Hilbert, who lost his job last week to Nate Bennett, but got it back this season. This game, rather. And Joe Paterno once again. And as I mentioned, Mike, we had lunch with him earlier this week. As you take a look at some of his career numbers, 291 victories.
Wow.
It'll be 292 after this one. And he is really just a delightful man. Loves kids, and at 70, still loves coaching football.
How sharp is this guy? He's going to be 71 in December. I think he's every bit as smart, tough, and intelligent as he was 20 years ago. He's really a special guy.
Ready to become the 6th man to reach 300 victories. Here's a counter. Eberle up to the 20. And he is smacked pretty hard. Looks like Harris, the freshman, came up with the hit. And when you compare the coaches, I mean, Ron Cooper only 36 years old, and look at the experience, 32 years to 5 years for Ron Cooper, 5 years total.
That's the only thing Ron's got going for himself right there, 36.
He's got some time, right?
He will get over this, that's right. Now, if you're 70 and you're getting beat 57-21, it's a little tougher to deal with.
And if you're 70 with only 5 years of experience, you got trouble as well. That pass is incomplete at the 30-yard line, as it was intended for number 80, Bob Stevenson.
Louisville still has most of their starters in the game. Fuqua making another good play. That's a tough young man. And you know what they're hanging their hat on right now if you're Ron Cooper's? Hey, we got to get better and better for the conference season, because we haven't played a conference game yet, and we still have a chance at the Liberty Bowl. And that's what Ron Cooper is going to be talking about. Let's get better for the conference season.
The winner of Conference USA, an automatic berth in the Liberty Bowl. Here's a pass up top, and it is caught. Number 13, Sam Crenshaw, a freshman from Youngstown, Ohio, with the catch over the middle. And he is stopped by Don Bibb, and Kevin Thompson doing a good job here, coming in, spelling McQueary.
It's great to be able to play some of the guys that work so hard in practice The safety, Courtney Dinkins, got caught up inside. Nice pass, excellent catch. And that's what Paterno said when I asked him about blowouts. He said, you know, these kids work so hard in practice, there's got to be a carrot at the end of the stick, and the carrot is playing time.
Here's Cordell Mitchell darting through the hole inside the 40-yard line. That kid has some really quick feet.
I really like him, Gus. I think he's going to be a great situational player for these guys this year. That change of pace, quick burst.
And I know Coach Pasqualoni at Syracuse has to be a little upset not getting a hometown kid. He's from Syracuse, Cordell Mitchell.
They could use a little burst right about now, couldn't they?
Taking on Tulane today. Second down and short. Out of the eye. Mitchell, the deep back. They give it to him. And it looks like he will not pick up the first down. Terry Rice Lockett in on the tackle, along with Braxton Anderson. Now the schedule for the Nittany Lions, they'll have a week off next week and then head into Champaign to take on Illinois. But the big game right there, Ohio State.
They're very fortunate, just like 2 years ago when they went 12-0. They've got both Michigan and Ohio State at home. Those are the two key games in the Big Ten season, both at home.
And a big game that you also should keep your eye on, Michigan State, their final game of the season.
Right.
Nick Saban really with an aggressive defense in East Lansing. Stevenson in motion. Mitchell trying to find a hole, nowhere to go.
Penetration by Rondell Marsh blew that play up.
Duran Wiley coming in to mop him up. 36 seconds and counting here in the third quarter of play. 57-21 is our score, and Penn State will punt it away.
Another class act by Paterno. 4th and 1.5. Punt the football away.
So Pat Pigeon ready to send it away. Arnold Jackson standing at his own 10. Taking an awful lot of time. Here's a snap. Wobbly kick, and Jackson will let this one go into the end zone. It deadens inside the 5 and is recovered at the 3. 35-yard punt, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score Penn State leading Louisville 57-21. We'll return to Cardinal Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. In the fourth quarter of play. And the Cardinals have the ball on their own 3 and a first down. And this is Moreau, and he'll barely get back to the line of scrimmage. As a matter of fact, I believe he'll lose a yard or 2 on the play. Mark Kielmeyer, number 94, freshman from Westerville, Ohio, at the tackle. And Mark went to the same high school as former All-American Keyjana Carter.
Not a bad legacy. Look where the football is, inside the 1.
Second and 12.
That'll make it second down and a long 12 from the 1-yard line. Arnold Jackson split out to the near side. They may look for. Here they go. Incomplete. Ball intended for Mike Bogan. Let's check in again with our CBS next week when they take on the Florida Gators.
Hey, I watched them on tape with their game week 1, Louisville. That is a different ball club this year.
Totally different.
And they spread the field, throw the ball quick, and let their guys, Yeast and Keo Sanford, run with the football. They're exciting.
Redmond again. Looking, and he's got Montano. And Montano close to a first down, but I think he may be about a foot shy. As we mentioned, next week, Florida and Kentucky. That game in Lexington. 3:30 start for both of these games. And Don Nehlen's Mountaineers from West Virginia against Miami. In their wounds after losing on Thursday to Pitt. But don't forget the big game coming up next. Tennessee, number 4 in the nation, against Steve Spurrier's Florida Gators.
You know, after that Thursday night game, both of us ought to probably start referring to them as Pittsburgh. What do you think?
Exactly. I'm sorry
I
about
keep
that.
doing it too. We both have done it. It's hard to break those habits.
Eberle lets it bounce. And it will be downed at the 45. 40-yard punt. 13 minutes and 18 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter of play. Penn State on offense after this. Fourth quarter.
Kenny Jackson, wide receiver coach for Penn State, 5th year with the staff. He was a first-round draft pick by the Eagles coming out of Penn State, 4th pick in the whole draft. Has really gotten a lot of credit for developing Joe Joravicius as a wide receiver.
Here's the inside handoff, and the Nittany Lions running it straight ahead this time. Mike Caramelli with the carry. 5'10", 230-pound freshman fullback out of Allentown Central.
Remember that team 2 years ago? They go 12-0, and because of the inequity in the bowl situations, end up number 2 to Nebraska. But that team had more offensive weapons than maybe any college football team I've ever seen. They had Bobby Ingram, the Biletnikoff winner, and Freddie Scott at wide receiver, Carter, fullback, Kerry Collins, Kyle Brady. Man, they were fun.
Where are you from, Mike? Pennsylvania, I believe, right? You got me on the Detroit kids last week. And some scores from around the country.
Yeah, there's your home, Michigan, extending themselves.
And Ohio State, Arizona later on.
Alabama and Arkansas. Danny Ford, big game going into the fourth quarter. What an upset that would be.
Ford under a little bit of pressure there in Fayetteville. And his team so far responding. 3rd down and 8 from the 48. Out of the backfield, and it is caught Eberle at midfield, changing directions, and he'll snake his way down to the Louisville 45-yard line, making the 44. Terry Rice Lockett with the tackle, the middle linebacker. That's a gain of 8 yards.
Nice block by true freshman John Mitchell for them on that particular play. He's a freshman out of CB East.
4th down and 1.
There's Terry Rice Lockett. Imagine he was recruited here as a wide receiver after Howard Schnellenberger. So Penn State will be sending it away. And Arnold Jackson back deep, standing at his own 10-yard line.
They pretty much just letting the clock go down to 4-3-2.
Got it away, high, wobbly kick. And this one goes out of the end zone. And the Cardinals will start from their own 20.
Ball will be brought back to the 20-yard line.
Pat Bidgen, nice punt. 11:35 to go here in the fourth quarter.
I'll bet you didn't know that Penn State's not the only #1 team in the stadium today. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not. Actually, I bet you I am, but
who?
Probably the Louisville cheerleaders.
Oh, you got me. They #1
The only reason I know that is because I had Louisville in the East Regional last year against North Carolina.
Well, for the 5th or 6th time in the last 10 years, Louisville cheerleaders #1.
Chris Redmond right now operating from his own 20-yard line. That's a good piece of...
well, we're reaching deep today, man.
Where you earn your money. Montano with the catch, and he is knocked out of bounds.
Miguel Montano, the ball carrier.
At the 25-yard line. A lot of school spirit.
Hey,
a lot of cheerleaders here.
That's why you train hard in the summer, Gus, for blowouts like this. The cheerleaders got to go 60 minutes now.
Well, they don't look like there's any stopping them right now. That'll make it 2nd down and short for Redmond. Here's a handoff, and
Frank
Moreau up close to the 30-yard line. Tennessee, Florida standing by for this one. Sean McDonough and Terry Donahue, Michelle Tafoya bring that game live from the Swamp in Gainesville.
If there's anybody out there that doesn't know that Tennessee's playing Florida after this, they are.
3rd down and 1.
Chris Redmond staying in the whole game. Good learning experience for the redshirt sophomore out of Louisville.
Number 22, Darnell.
And let's head back to New York City, where our Jim Nance is standing by. I tell you what, you could just see the anticipation in Peyton Manning's face, ready to go onto the football field today for the last time against Florida. Here's Moreau. Breaks it over the 35. Has a blocker in front of it. Sprung out and will be written out at the 40. And the tackle on the play for Penn State. Made by Gatton.
You know, I've been impressed, as I usually am, with this Penn State defense and Jerry Sandusky, but their defensive backs always do a great job. Their coach, Tom Bradley, has been with this staff for 19 years. He played here at Penn State as a college player, walked on. Hard to see him right there in the corner. His nickname is Scrap. He was a walk-on, captain of the special teams, short for Scrap Iron. They call that special team the Scrap Pack.
Responsible for some of the big recruits that Penn State has landed over the years. Shane Conlon, also Brandon Short.
Right. Don't forget LeVar Arrington out of Pittsburgh this past year. I think Tom Bradley is one of the better young assistant coaches around the country. He's been here for 19 years. He's coached special teams. He's coached defense. He's coached offense. He's going to be one of those guys a couple years from now. You're going to see him prowling the sidelines as a head coach. Great mind and one of the best recruiters in the country.
Western Pennsylvania, his area. And he's got some great players out of that area of the country. First down. Here's Gordon at the 45, cut it back inside, split two defenders, and got it over the 50. That'll be a 7-yard pickup as Maurice Daniels was in on the tackle. And Chris Redmond, his journey to his hometown, a very interesting one. He signed originally with Illinois, but on the second day after he had signed, they fired Greg Landry, so he wanted out of his national letter of intent. Lou Tepper allowed him to get out. Then he decided to go to Oklahoma, but changed his mind prior to going to Norman, and he was going to play for Howard Schnellenberger there. After that, he called up Coach Cooper and said, hey, I'd like to be a part of the program, and the Cardinals accepted him with open arms. And look what he's done in 2 seasons already.
Jay Gruden, who's in the Arena Football League, did that in 25 games, 5 300-yard games. Chris Redmond has 4 in 10 games. This is probably going to be the best quarterback they've ever had here, and there's some good names there. Browning Nagel, Jeff Brom is with San Francisco right now.
A lot of credit has to be passed out to Don Kirkpatrick, their offensive coordinator, for bringing this system in, and he's in there his first year as the offensive coordinator. Here's Moreau making tackles over the 35-yard line down to the 33. That's a gain of 12.
Donnell Gordon, fullback, makes a great block on this play to seal the corner. Watch Gordon right here come down and make the cut block in here. Gordon eyes it up, cut right at the knees. That clears the lane, and Moreau's running downhill all the way. That's a good job by Donnell Gordon.
9 carries, 36 yards for Frank Moreau, who sat out last year with a torn up Achilles tendon. The year prior, rushed for 416 yards. First down from the 33.
Ran out of time. Try to change it too much.
So 7 minutes, 55 seconds to go. It's all Penn State. It's been a great week for him, despite the loss today. On Wednesday, his wife Kim gave birth to their first child, little Tyler, coming into the world. Ironically, when we saw him yesterday, we were supposed to meet with him at about noon, but he had a flat tire out on the interstate. He got the head coach of the college team with a flat tire. Nobody gave him to help him.
And bittersweet week for Ron Cooper, but obviously the birth of his first child, regardless of what happened on the interstate or what happened today, still a great week for Ron Cooper.
And his team came out raring to go, but it's just an issue of Penn State with a lot more talent right now and a lot more experience.
And in the second part of that, I think, is particularly true. I mean, Louisville, all their skill position people are real young. They need to develop that offensive line a little bit. They lost 5 guys to the NFL off a heck of a defense last year. They need to reload.
Last year's defense ranked 4th in the nation. Here's Redmond now. Stepping up, delivering. Great catch at the 20. That's Montano. 13-yard grab.
He will give his body up over the middle. I've watched every one of their tapes. He's their leading receiver as far as number of receptions. Miguel Montano beating the press, zone coverage. He's going to take it inside. Watch him give the body up. Elevate, great hands, former walk-on, holds onto the football. I really like Miguel Montano.
7 catches, 127 yards. Some pretty good receivers who played for Louisville. Curtis Gibbons, Arc-Lite, both playing here for the Cardinals. Went on to very successful pro careers.
He's changing. He saw the blitz by Ahmad Collins.
Short drop to the near side, and that's Montano once again, and he'll be slung down at the 25, but they'll mark the ball at about the 18. So Miguel Montano, what a career. Came in here as a walk-on, trying to supplant Jamie Asher as the all-time leader in receptions. Already has his degree in equine administration. His father, Angel, a renowned trainer of horses at Churchill Downs, which is about 6-7 minutes away from the stadium, and he'll follow in his dad's footsteps and head into the family business upon graduation.
Unless he gets a shot somewhere. People say he's not quick enough. I don't know. He's a possession type guy. He might get into somebody's camp. How about the leading receiver? It's not often you see a leading receiver in a program that throws the football as a tight end. Jamie Asher, 153 career catches. That's an awful lot of catches for a tight end.
He is with Norv Turner and the Skins. Second down, 7 minutes to go. Here in the fourth quarter play, Louisville driving again. Redmond, plenty of time, steps up in the pocket, drifts into the end zone. Tough pass, it's incomplete. And it's intended for Lavelle Boyd, but Redmond had plenty of room in front of him. He may have been able to just take that one down the field and pick up some good real estate.
You know, I don't mind him throwing the football in that situation as long as he did what he just did, which is throw it in a place where the defensive backs can't get to it and your wide receivers got a chance on a dive. I just hate it when you throw it into a crowd late. That gets to me.
Played for his dad Bob at Male High School, which is located right off I-65 here in Louisville.
You can tell I've been driving all week.
Pump fake, and this one almost picked off.
Just talked about that. Don't throw it late into a crowd. If he's going to throw that ball, you got to put some air under it and let Montana go get it.
Intended for Montano.
So the secondary for Penn State, not a really big group. And take a look. They call them the Smurfs.
And, you know, back in 1986, look at that, 5'8", 174 pounds. When they won the national championship in '86 and went undefeated, they had Ray Isom, Duffy Cobb, and Johnson all about the same height and weight. So you can get it done regardless of your size and your weight.
Redmond flushed out of the pocket into the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Montano, who made a great effort trying to catch the football. And it is incomplete. Now next on CBS, Tennessee Heisman Trophy candidate senior Peyton Manning is looking for his first win against the #3 Florida Gators. The Gators have won the last 4 meetings, and it's always a tough place to play when you head to the swamp in Gainesville. Tennessee, Florida next.
You know, Gus, I had Florida twice last year. Got a chance to see 5 or 6 Steve Spurrier practices, and the focus was on Danny Warfel. But when I watched their quarterback work out, my eye kept going to this unheralded freshman, Doug Johnson. Great arm, tremendous drop back speed. Ooh, it's like Caramelli
with the run of 12 yards. Courtney Dinkins making the tackle. North Carolina taking it to Maryland. Michigan doing the same to Baylor.
I wonder who there it is. Bama scores, takes the lead for Arkansas.
Mike Dubose in his first year replacing Gene Stallings down in Tuscaloosa. And look at that.
To talk to Coach Holtz about that one.
6:19 to go in the fourth quarter of play. New quarterback in the game, Rashard Casey. And this is Everly trying to break it outside, and he'll pick up 4 or 5 up to the 35-yard line. There's Casey out of Hoboken, New Jersey, and he may be the heir apparent at quarterback. I know Kevin Thompson has had a very nice day, but I think this is the young man they feel can become the future of Penn State.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt Kevin Thompson's a very good quarterback, or will be, but Rashard Casey, when you talk to freaking Casey.
All right, folks, we're going to pull a switch here. Penn State with that